Hello and welcome to Reality TV Cringe. I am one of your co-hosts, Zelia, here with my real tight homegirl, Beatrice, also my daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
And we like to have fun.
We do.
We like to kick it and talk about sister wives and stuff.
Yeah, we do.
And that is what we're here to do with you today. We are covering Sister Wives Season 18, Episode 11, entitled Airing the Dirty Laundry. Mm-hmm. But before we get to it, we have to remind you, hide your wife, hide your kids.
Yeah.
This is an inappropriate podcast. We say a lot of bad words. We have sometimes offensive opinions. We're definitely not politically correct. So if you're sensitive, you might want to find another dumpster. Okay.
Also, we got an Instagram at Reality TV Cringe, and we got a Patreon, patreon.com/Reality TV Cringe, where we have lots of bonus content up on there.
Yes, we are starting our coverage of the most recent season of Love After Lockup.
Yes.
We had no idea what we were missing, honestly, until we did that poll.
Oh my God.
And we got together this weekend and we started our adventure.
And it was
with these couples.
This show is awesome.
Oh, so you can only find that on Patreon.
Yes.
And we also want to ask any of you watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and share and do all the social things. It really helps us to grow
thank you.
dumpster. Thank you so much. And by the way, bitch, this is our 100th podcast episode.
What?
Which is so crazy.
I don't even know how we made it to 100.
I don't know either. We've just been meeting and talking and drinking and vaping and having fun and, you know, just having fun with our favorite trashy television shows.
And I'm just glad that a bunch of other people on the internet found us and wanted to have fun with us. So thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much. We are celebrating our 100th episode. Feeling like a professional podcast.
I mean, we are professional. We have a whole ass sign over here.
Thank you. Like, we're here to say something and I think it's important.
Yeah.
Thank you in advance. All right. Before we get into the episode, is there any hot goss that you want to go over? I think there's something, right?
Well, there's only a couple things that I saw on Without a Crystal Ball's Instagram page. I just thought they were interesting. And the only reason why we bring them up is because they're coming directly from Mykelti's Patreon, which is interesting because Mykelti, as we all know, is the bridge of the family. And so she is playing both sides, if you will, and trying to do some PR for her dad and Robin for some reason, but then also trying to throw a little shade here and there. But two things came out. One, she did confirm that all of the paintings and artwork that Robin and Kody have in their house are 100% real.
So like, does that mean not prints?
Yeah.
Or
like
they
they're
are
real.
Prints? Okay.
They're from the
paintings.
actual artistes.
Okay.
And she said that Kody's justification for all of the fancy artwork and the jewelry and all of the other bullshit that they spend their money on is because he thinks of them as investments in their future. And so that's why he spends thousands upon thousands of dollars on artwork for Robin's home. And same thing with the jewelry is what she mentioned as well. So I thought that was weird.
Well, I mean, it does make sense because artwork can be an investment.
I guess.
First of all, and personally, I think that artwork is booty.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. I wouldn't be spending $10,000 for one of those paintings. But the thing is, secondly, that it must be quite the luxury to be able to have investments like that while Janelle is out living in the RV in the fifth wheel or living in her dormitory apartment. Or we've got Christine, you know, trying to hustle up some plexus so that she can take care of her kids. Meanwhile, you've got all of these prints and all of this jewelry and this Dickensian village. The Dickensian village, I cannot get over it.
I know.
You have all this shit in your house and so much shit we don't even know about in the hoarder house.
Yeah.
So it must be nice.
Must be really
to be able to invest like that, Kody.
And only invest in one particular future, not anybody else's future. It's really nice.
And where did you get the money for that?
Exactly.
Was it from the Kody Brown LLC?
It's Janelle's money.
Fund? Yeah. Is it Janelle's money? Is it Mary's money? Is it Christine's money?
Yeah. It's Janelle's money that he's investing into his future with Robin. It's pretty wild. And then the other thing that is kind of a weird little tidbit, if y'all remember that Dayton, Robin's eldest son, got into an ATV accident many years ago, and this was actually on the show. And on the show, Robin and Kody's narrative about it was that Dayton was out of town with friends when he had this accident, but then Mykelti recently on her Patreon in the year of our Lord 2023 revealed that he was actually out of town in St. George with Kody and Robin. So Kody was there and present during Dayton's accident. And then you were telling me before we filmed this that Hunter was there too, and he was the one that like
I think it was a boys trip. I don't know if Robin was there actually.
So maybe it was just Kody.
I think it was Kody and the boys. And so after the accident happened with Dayton, it was Hunter that actually took and this is a little bit graphic and I apologize, but took the flaps of his face and actually put them back together and then held them in place until emergency services got there. So Hunter was actually helping him a lot. But yeah, Kody was the parent that was in charge and responsible. And so that makes it crazy to me that for Christmas 2021, he's buying her children mini bikes because I think she has trauma from what happened to Dayton.
Totally, because it was a super traumatic accident. I mean, that poor kid had all these stitches and shit and he had to have all these surgeries, like wild to me. But why would they lie on TV about it and say that he was out of town with friends and like Kody wasn't involved in any way? That's what's weird to me. Yeah. Like, why is she covering for Kody? Because Kody didn't want to look bad?
Yes, I think, and we even see it in this episode, like Kody and his image. Kody doesn't want criticism.
Yeah.
Kody doesn't want everybody to know kind of the inner workings of who he is and what the family is doing. So I just think that he didn't want to put it out there on Front Street.
That's so
wild. And so they made up
a
story, and Dayton kept the secret.
That's sad.
Yeah, and so did Hunter, and so did the boys that were on that trip.
Oh, this family, I swear.
But I mean, do you remember when they went up to Wyoming and McKelty fell off the horse?
Yeah.
I mean, she was also out with Kody on the horses, right? And so obviously she got a wild hair and she went riding off and she fell off the horse and she got hurt. But again, there's one parent that's present and it's him.
The common denominator is Kody Brown.
It's Kody Brown. Jeez. Interesting information.
Just a little bit.
All right, are you ready to get into this episode?
Yeah, into this boring ass episode.
Kind of boring. Again, it's called Airing the Dirty Laundry. And essentially, we've got a couple of scenes with Christine in Salt Lake City.
Nobody cares.
We have a scene with Truly and Isabel at Kody and Robin's house, which I thought was very interesting. Lots of nuances happening. And then we have a lot of revealed information from Meri Brown over 2 different segments. So why don't we go in order here?
All right.
We start by heading over to Salt Lake City, Utah to Christine's very happy home. We have McKelty and Tony over. And I think Isabel is there and Truly is there.
I think Aspen's there too.
Maybe Aspen's
and Peyton,
there.
maybe.
Yeah, Peyton. That's right. Peyton was there. And this is where we learn the news that she's pregnant, but not just with one baby. She got 2 babies. 2 babies in her belly. What did you think about this scene?
I mean, I don't care.
I don't care either. Plus, we've already heard about all of it. And if you're on Reddit, you've already seen the pictures from when she gave birth with Robin holding her 2 babies as if she was the mother. We've already been here.
Yes.
We've already done that.
Like, I just don't care. It was just like a long ass segment, and the whole entire time I'm just like, why? Why are we starting with this? Like, I would be happy for it if I got to see it in present day.
Yeah.
But these kids are like, what, 7 or 8 months old now?
Yes.
Like, they're fucking old.
Or a year.
Yeah.
They're like walking and talking.
I mean,
having full ass conversations with their parents at this point. They're driving cars. They're dating girls.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
I just don't care. And then Tony just acting all shell shocked. He's like, oh, I don't know how I can handle this. I'm like, shut up.
What do you mean? You don't have a job.
I know.
What else are you going to do except for take care of your kids?
I know.
That is your full-time job now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have them on the couch kind of talking about when McKelty found out that she was having twins, and she didn't expect it necessarily, but apparently she always wanted them.
Yeah.
She always wanted twins, and so she got the news, and she was like, oh, okay. She just rolled with it.
Yeah.
But then Tony got the news, and he was like crying.
Yeah, he was super terrified.
Yeah, very terrified.
I mean, I guess I get it, because it's kind of a lot.
Sure.
Like, you expected to have a second kid, now you get 3 kids,
right.
But like, okay, calm down. I don't care. Congratulations. You're going to have twins. That's beautiful. You have a beautiful family. Next.
Yeah, I feel like Tony and McKelty overestimate their importance to the franchise.
Truly.
I did notice, though, how different they looked in their talking head. They look like they've each lost about 100 pounds.
Have you been following them on Instagram? They have been losing a lot of weight.
I don't follow them on Instagram because I cannot stand either of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like them either. But I see them on Instagram from time to time popping up on the feed, and they've lost a lot of weight. Like,
yeah,
they're both
I've seen them looking really great, but I'm just like shocked when you compare and contrast just how much weight they have lost. They were pretty tubby.
Yeah, they were.
And I know,
too many tacos.
I know of tubby because I am very tubby. I'm a tubby raccoon.
Shut
in the desert.
up.
I am. So I can spot it. Those kids have lost weight. They look great.
They do look really great.
Is actually, and I have to say this, she's actually beautiful.
Yeah, she is.
She's your face. She's actually really pretty with her long, beautiful hair. Oh my God, hair goals.
Yeah.
Then we have Kody popping on in and saying something like that twins don't run on his side of the family. So those twins must be on Tony's side of the family.
But then Tony says that he doesn't have twins on his side of the family at all, and neither does Christine. Yeah. So it's just kind of a one-off.
It's a
miracle.
It's a blessing, Beatrice.
Totally.
Then we bop on over to Parowan, Utah, with some morose, depressive music.
Sad, pathetic.
And we have Meri in her haunted B&B with that terrible wallpaper.
I know, it's really bad.
I want her to take care of it.
Why don't you change it?
Haste. We need to modernize the B&B.
We do.
But she's talking about the fact that she just had her 32nd anniversary with Kody Brown. And like half the day had already gone by. She hadn't heard from him. So she called him and she's like, happy anniversary.
And he's like, oh yeah,
I guess so. I guess it's our anniversary.
Yeah. And then I guess they go out to dinner. He goes to pick her up.
She suggests it.
Yes.
She's like, do you want to go for a drive? Would you like to go out to eat? And he's like, well, I mean, I'm watching the kids. Really? You're babysitting your own children, which is something I know that you love to do. And then he's like, but so I have to ask Robin.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're watching the kids, but Robin's there. Is she in her bed until noon, just sleeping, dozing?
Probably.
Staring at the Dickensian village, just thinking about the next piece she's going to be acquiring because she's bidding on it on fucking eBay. And I'm going to get that Dickensian village together. It's my dream. Is that where she is?
Yeah.
So he's watching the kids, but really his talking head, he tells us that he needs to think, like, what is he going to do? Does he really want to go? Is that the right thing to do under these circumstances? And then I guess he decides that he'll see her. So he calls her back and says, okay, I'll pick you up. And then we get some old footage of Kody jumping into his truck, I think from when he was going to go level the fifth wheel for Janelle.
Yep.
So they're just recycling this old footage and all of these old pictures. I'm like, what are you doing, production company?
I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of seeing all of the same pictures of Meri and Kody too. Like while Meri's talking about their relationship, like we get it. They're on the fritz. They're never going to get back together. Kody hates her and doesn't love her apparently.
Right.
It's just like so annoying to have to go back and forth.
It really is episode after episode after episode, a rehashing of something that we already know. I feel like this season is complete filler, like stuff again that they're just putting together to make a season, but they're going to release a new season maybe in April. Like I've been talking about the last couple of times we've been meeting about Sister Wives. Like I just can't believe this is the season. And the gag is that it's one of the highest reviewed, watched, rated seasons of all time for Sister Wives.
Yeah.
So what incentive do these hoe-ass producers have to give us a better season next time?
They don't have any incentive. It's just like how we were talking before we filmed this. Like, we don't know if there's going to be a tell-all. And we've been talking about this the whole season. Like, we don't know how many more episodes we're going to have. We probably have at least a couple, like 2 or 3. And then maybe some tell-alls.
Yeah, I
don't know. But, like, if they don't do a tell-all this season, then...
if they don't do a tell-all this season, then it's going to feel to me like they're splitting the season in two. Like we're going to get a fall season and then we're going to get a spring season of kind of the same timeline. That's what I think might be happening. And then if they re-release next year in the fall again, maybe they can bring us up to speed and we can all meet again in the year 2024 in our current day timeline.
That's just crazy.
That's my dream as a raccoon. Like, can we fucking catch up to what everybody else knows?
Speed up, man.
Back to this date with Kody and Meri. So she's having, a dinner with him and he makes reference to faking the relationship.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, what do you mean faking the relationship?
Come
and he
on,
actually
Meri.
does this with his hand. Like me and you, we're faking this relationship. And she's like, I'm not faking. And then we get into the conversation where Kody, I guess, finally tells her straight out, it is never, not ever going to happen between you and me. I cannot see myself interjecting myself into your life in any way. I don't want to. I don't want this. We do not have, actually, what I wrote it down. What does he say? He says, quote, but we're not met. And then he stops himself.
Yeah.
And then he says, but we're not living like we're married. But what he really wanted to say is, we're not even married.
Yeah. So
and
terrible.
Her heart started speeding up because it was literally physically breaking in her chest.
And like while I'm watching all of this, I'm like feeling for Meri, and I understand that she's upset. But
yeah.
I feel like she's been told this the
She's been
last couple
shown
years.
this.
She's been shown this the last couple years. And I'm like, Meri, why is this so surprising to you? You have been the only one wanting to actually try. He has not wanted to try the last several years of your marriage. You say it yourself in this episode that you guys haven't had much of a marriage in the last 8 years. Why do you even want to try? And I understand that it's about her faith and that it's this eternal marriage that they signed up for, and like they have these spiritual beliefs that they're called to. But I'm just like, at a certain point in time, you got to realize that it's never going to be it the way you want it to be. It's never going to be what it was when you guys were 19 and 22. It's just never going to go back to that, because he found his soulmate and it's not you. And he convinced you, stupidly, to divorce his ass so that way he could marry his soulmate and be legally married to her. And you're still going on about this and saying, well, I'm trying. I'm not faking it.
I'm not leaving. I'm still here with the family. I just think she's pining. She mentions in this episode, again, her values. I think her spiritual, religious values are very important to her. I also think that Kody and Meri had a real love story back in the day. I remember the season 1 footage. I remember when Robin got married and she was fixing his tie, which they showed twice or something in this episode. God. The way they looked at each other, the way they danced at that wedding, the way they had passion. I could tell that they were fucking.
They were fucking a lot.
They were fucking. There was passion. And in a later segment, Meri actually says that Kody has the nerve to say, I never loved you. Oh, I was only ever just trying to affirm our vows.
So crazy to me. And that was right after she said that during their whole relationship, anytime that she asked him, like, do you still love me or whatever, still care about me? Anytime she had doubts, he was always there to reassure her. Right. And she always believed that. And then to turn around and say, no, I've never loved you. Just like he said with Christine. Right. I was never attracted to you. I never loved you. He's using the same exact fucking script.
This is the definition of gaslighting.
Yes.
He's gaslighting all of these women. What are you talking about? I never loved you.
He hasn't said this to Janelle, though.
No, he hasn't said
Not
this
yet.
to Janelle, but he tried to gaslight her in their big fight.
Yeah.
I think that this was a really crushing segment, and I think it ends with her saying something like, but you promised.
Yeah.
You literally promised me. And then when we get to the next part where she's going into the relationship, she starts by saying, like, I had a lot of doubts going into this relationship and going into polygamy with you and building this specific life with you. I had questions. I was worried, but you were always reassuring me that everything was going to be okay and that you loved me and that I was your person.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you never loved me.
And she calls it bullshit too.
It is bullshit.
She knows it's bullshit.
She's like, ask anybody
who
knew us when we were 19, 20, even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Ask anybody and they would tell you that he loved me and that we were in love.
Crazy.
And I believe her.
Yep, me too.
After this scene, we bop on back to Christine and we're still talking about the twins. And now we're talking about how McKelty is going to be delivering twins. And because of that, she's not comfortable with having a home birth.
Yeah, which is
she's
fair.
High risk. And so she's going to solicit the services of Dr. Bean, who was the doctor who was there to deliver Truly. And then we saw all the fucking footage of that.
Truly multiple times.
Then we saw footage of Robin's home birth and Maddie's home birth. And I'm like, what are we doing?
I know.
Going through the archives just to make a full episode.
We've already seen all of it.
And it doesn't even make sense to what you're talking about.
No.
So she's going to be bringing on Dr. Bean. I was going to say Mr. Bean. And so then we have a conversation about polygamists and hospitals. What did you think about that?
I thought that was interesting because Christine says that a lot of polygamists are afraid of going to the hospitals and giving birth there because they don't want to be found out as polygamists. And that's why they don't usually put the father on birth certificates and stuff like that because they don't want to get caught. And so there's a weird culture of fear with hospitals. So that's why they do home births,
right?
Which is fine. And then Christine talks about how great home births are and how the recovery time is awesome because you're already at home and it's pretty great. And you're like, fuck no,
Absolutely.
Give me the drugs.
I need all of the drugs.
I mean, but me being such a crunchy person, I'm like, well, I can see the appeal of a home birth.
Really?
Yeah, there was a lady that
went to messy.
My church. Well, yeah, but there was a lady that went to my church and she's had 6 kids and she had them all in her bed.
Okay. Are you really wanting like a natural birth, do
No.
you think, when you give birth? You're You're going to want an epidural. I told you they tried to give me an epidural, but I was way too fat and they couldn't get the needle between my spine into the spinal membrane or whatever because I was so fat, which was unfortunate because then I had to feel I was very fat. You don't think I was super turbo fat?
Well, because you were pregnant.
Well, yeah, I was very pregnant, but and so then I had to take the regular drugs, and those were good up until like I think 4 or 5 centimeters, and then it was just all downhill from there in terms of pain. If I could have had the epidural and all the Dilaudid, I would have been so happy.
Yeah, you had been so fine.
Yeah, but yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't want to do a home birth.
But some of the home births, I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful. Or like the people that do the water births and stuff, it's supposed to be more natural that way.
I don't know.
And there's a whole historical thing that says like when they started making women give birth in hospitals and they had to lay down, like it's actually worse for your pelvic floor and all of that stuff. So actually, it's bad.
I made it.
Saying.
I took drugs and it was great.
I thought it was interesting, though, the whole segment about births.
And then we have Janelle kind of cutting in and saying that she was not raised as a polygamist. And so she never really had this preconceived idea about hospitals being bad or hospitals being a mechanism through which you could out your polygamist family. And thus, Kody has his name on all of her children's birth certificate.
Yeah.
And that got me wondering, like, does Kody have his name on Christine's kids' birth certificates?
I wonder if he doesn't.
Because if she wants to pursue him for child support,
she probably can.
She has to, well, she can prove paternity. And also we have the footage that we've all been watching for 12 years where he's established that he's her father.
Yeah.
She could get child support, but I'm just wondering whether he signed Christine's children's birth certificates, or is he out here like not legally taking ownership of them at all? Because I don't think he ever insured them.
Oh my God.
I also don't think he ever insured Janelle's kids either. Like they've rarely had insurance for any of their kids, which is why Christine had to raise $50,000 in order to get Isabel her spinal surgery, which I don't think Kody contributed to. And they didn't have insurance. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy.
Super, super crazy. And it seems like Christine's the only one with this weird fear, and she kind of passed it down to her kids because she talks about how McKelty had Avalon at home, but Tony was like not really
he was
okay with
traumatized.
that.
He has PTSD from that, and so would I.
Well, yeah, seeing your wife in pain like that with no pain meds and everything, and like all of the goop and all of the stuff, it's just like that's
for real.
Lot.
It is a lot.
That is a lot. And yeah, you have a midwife there, and Christine says that that's essential to have a good home birth, to have a experienced midwife and everything. That's still a lot. So I'm kind of glad that McKelty's like, I'm just going to do it in the hospital.
Yeah.
Because I got twins. It's too high risk. We're just going to do it there.
Right. And I totally understand. And I totally think that she should.
Yeah.
After this, we head on over to Robin and Kody's, and they are celebrating Truly's 12th birthday. Truly is visiting with her sister Isabel, and Robin is really happy to have family in the house.
Is she?
Even though it's not everybody. Though it's not everybody, she's just happy because their kids have really missed their siblings.
Whatever.
But there just seems to be a wall. There seems to be a wall that I can't get over, and I just don't know why.
And the wall is Christine.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
There's nothing that I've done to create this wall.
Okay.
And so I am confused as to why. But in this moment, I'm just happy to have a couple members of the family over to visit.
Is she though? I feel like she's not really happy to have them over, to be honest.
I think it feels awkward, and Kody even addresses it, and he's like, Truly's fine. She seems to be having a lot of fun, but there's just a nuance. There's an undertone. There is a vibe with Isabel that is like just strain or just uncomfy. And when you look at Isabel,
I mean,
she's standing around the island with the rest of the kids. Her eyes are downcast. She doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah.
And then we get her on the couch saying, well, yeah, I mean, my relationship with my father has always been rocky.
Yeah.
And now it's especially weird because they're going through a divorce. Plus, we're a polygamist family going through a divorce. I don't know how to act.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to act. And so it's weird.
Well, and I'm just like, also, he didn't go to your major surgery.
Right.
And you really wanted him to go to your surgery. And we saw him on camera say, don't be a bitter old hag or whatever because I didn't go to your surgery. Like, I think that's also contributing to the quote mild strain that Kody puts it.
Yes.
And I'm just like, Kody, you could try to bridge the gap a little bit. You could try to make Isabel and Truly feel a bit more comfortable, but you don't, because you don't care. You're just going to allow the mild strain to linger and not do anything about it because he expects everybody else to just kind of adjust.
Him, to facilitate the relationship that they want to have with him. And if they don't want to have a relationship with him, like Maddie, they don't want to have a relationship with him, he's not going to go out of his way to call them or make any overtures. We actually have a producer ask him like, hey, have you talked with Maddie.
Yeah.
And this is where he says, yeah, around the time Christine left, or maybe it was COVID, Maddie just stopped calling, and I'm not really sure what happened there. Then we cut to Janelle saying, yeah, she's not talking to him because of his behavior.
Yes.
She has to think about her kids and what kind of people or what kind of grandfather she's going to allow into the lives of her children.
That's
and
big.
Because of his behavior, she doesn't want any part of it right now.
Now, do you think that
I
would...
loved it.
I mean, that's
My God,
great.
Thank you, Janelle.
So awesome.
Yes.
But do you think that that's influenced at all by any of the wives? Like, is Janelle running to Maddie and talking shit about Kody, you think?
I think Christine is running to Maddie.
You think so?
Yes, I think Christine has talked to Maddie. And Maddie has always been a very big critic of polygamy and Robin.
That's true.
Anytime they had home church, which again, we saw footage of this. Once again, Robin with her purity preaching.
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
lady.
shut up.
Wasn't she pregnant with Dayton
I
out
think
of wedlock?
So. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know. But yeah, Maddie was always sitting at home church with a very stink-ass face, listening to her parents preach about the values and virtues of spirituality.
Like hypocrites.
Yeah, so I think she's pretty disappointed. And we even have Kody saying in this segment that as he looks around at his family right now, he's disappointed.
Well, yeah. Wouldn't you be? And why don't you fix it? Why don't you do anything to fix it? You're just going to allow it to disintegrate in front of you. And you're just going to be like, whatever.
Well,
it is what it is.
He talks about how it's hard right now and he doesn't know if he can trust. And I'm like, are you talking for Isabel in that moment? Like maybe Isabel doesn't know if she can trust me, because I actually think maybe he's talking about himself being unable to trust Isabel or his other kids.
That's what I think it is, because I think he believes that all of the wives are talking shit about him to the kids and turning him away or turning them against him. So I think that's what he means. He can't trust his kids. He's calling them narcissists and stupid and idiots and jerks on national TV.
Wild to me, Beatrice.
I know. It's really crazy to see. And I'm just like, Kody, why don't you just like try to talk to your kids about it though?
Yeah.
And try to be not an angry testosterone raging monster about it. Why don't you talk to them and ask them how they're feeling? Because they're probably feeling super conflicted. Isabel right there is so uncomfortable to be around her dad because she's dealing with all of the shit that he's done to her.
Right.
On top of knowing how he treated his mom, how he treated her mom, and how he treated Janelle and the rest of her kids. Like, she knows what's happening because she's not fucking stupid. She's an adult. She can see. She's got 2 eyes.
Yeah.
So she's dealing with all of that. That's why it's uncomfortable. But he calls it mild.
I actually think that Isabel is there as a human shield for Truly, to like protect Truly, to make sure Truly's okay, because maybe Truly is feeling uncomfortable or awkward and she doesn't see these people very often. And so Isabel is offering to go and be there with Truly and spend some time with her family. We also learn in this segment about Kody would feel a lot of shame if he went back to Utah and showed his face in his old church, because his entire marriage, his entire family structure has imploded. He also says they have not found a church in Flagstaff, so they're not actively worshiping anywhere. And we have to wonder whether he's actually lost his faith, certainly his polygamist faith, right? I don't know if he would align himself currently with the AUB, which is, I guess, isn't that the religion that they are all part of? The AUB?
Yeah.
So he's not probably aligned with the AUB. I don't even know if he's an LDS, though. I don't even know if he's just a plain old Mormon anymore.
I don't even know. It would be interesting to hear what he actually does believe. But I mean, we've seen on prior seasons some of the people from his AUB church coming in to ask him about polygamy and all of his wisdom that he has from all of his 4 wives. So there are monogamists in the AUB that believe in the faith that are, quote, trying to find their own sister wives, right? So maybe he still aligns with the church, but is pretending like, oh, well, I am a polygamist, but, you know, I've gone through 3 divorces, so I'm thinking about it.
Maybe, but what I got from this was that he's disappointed, he's embarrassed,
He should be
angry. He's non-proactive because he's doing absolutely nothing to fix the problem. And he's sad because he ends this with, like everything seems to have come to sort of an end. And my family hasn't ended, but there has been an ending of sorts.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
It is sad.
And I felt with him on the couch, there was more of a softness, like maybe some time has passed from when he was red in his eyes and red in his face and red in his neck screaming about Christine. Like maybe a few months have actually passed, because Mykelti has said on her Patreon that he's going to therapy, that he's trying to, you know, get out of his anger and get out of his toxicity. So maybe there's been some time that's passed. I don't know.
mean, I
he
would
looks
hope
sad,
so.
but he's not fucking reflective.
No,
There's no
that's the
ownership or
thing.
accountability. Like
Yeah.
if he was actually doing the work and going to therapy, like there would be some of that in these statements, and there's none of that.
No, there's still a lot of anger and hatred towards the wives and some of the kids. Like he just doesn't have any of that ability to recognize his own actions and all of this. Like you're disappointed and sad, sure, but it's because you wanted it to be the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you're disappointed and sad because you miss your family, because if you missed your family, you would make the effort to try and mend all of these relationships that you broke, but you're not doing that. So to me, I'm watching this and I'm like, I don't really care that you're disappointed and sad, because you don't act like it and you don't care to fix it. So cry me a river, man.
Yeah, and at some point in this episode, Janelle says something like, you're getting exactly what you're giving to these kids.
Yes.
What you give them is what you're going to get from them. But they are no longer going to be making that extra effort to try and have a relationship with you.
Exactly.
Until you give them some more. This is what it is.
Right.
Speaking of Janelle, in the next scene, we head on over to Garrison's house, which again, he bought and paid for himself.
Working man.
Huge
honey.
accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a backyard, and he knows that his mama loves to garden.
It was so sweet,
and so all the kids have pitched in, and they built her some raised beds
for her birthday.
And so Gabe is out there helping her garden, plant her basil and her tomatoes, and you can just see she's in her element.
Yes.
She's so happy.
I loved it. And was it Gabe? I can never remember which one. The one with the long hair that was
Gabe.
helping her. Yeah, Gabe was helping her. She said that's her garden child who always loves to help her. And I'm just like, that's so wholesome and so cute that like in this tiny little urban area, they're giving their mom this whole space so she can plant her basil and her tomatoes and her sweet potatoes and all these things.
I just
I'm
love
just like,
it.
that makes me so happy.
Yeah, and her boys are trying to take care of
They
her.
are.
Her boys are trying
They
to
love her.
fill in or step into the shoes that her father or their father should be actually stepping in. So they're trying to take care of Janelle, and I thought that was a really sweet scene. But we get to the part of this scene, which is very interesting, where Janelle is talking about Coyote Pass. And she's reiterating that she loves gardening, she loves plants. Like her ideal dream would be to work professionally, large scale growing plants.
Which is awesome.
And so she has a current dream as of the filming here. So 2022, her birthday's in May. So I think we're in June of 2022 still.
Yeah.
But her current dream at that time was to build greenhouses on Coyote Pass and have some kind of a business.
Which is awesome.
And so she keeps asking Kody, like, are we paying it off? What's going on with this? And then we cut on over to Kody, and Cody's like, yeah, she's nagging me about Coyote Pass and paying it off. And my intention is to build there with Robin.
Yeah. Just Robin.
Not with Janelle, not with Meri, not with anybody else. I still intend to build there with Robin. And for all the nagging that Janelle is doing, she's not actually helping.
Bitch.
She helped pay for your McMansion to the tune of about $120,000 to $140,000. Meri also contributed to that McMansion and put money into the fund, which you used to buy your Dickensian village.
And all the artwork.
And all the artwork. And all your jewelry and Rolexes and rings and such. You're the one that needs to cough up the money for Coyote Pass. You pay it off.
For real. But I think he's saying that as a dig to her because he's still bitter about her spending $80,000 on the RV.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
I mean, that's all it is. He's just bitter because she went against his authority as the patriarch of the household and made that huge purchase. And we've talked about this before, that wasn't the most responsible use of her money.
Right.
However, when nobody is willing to pay off Coyote Pass and nobody is willing to make any headway on this fucking plot of land or all these plots of land that they bought, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yes.
Like, they're not doing shit with it. Yeah, I would probably buy something too, just to get out there, just to maybe light a fire under your guys' ass to get all of this done so we can build out there. Because Janelle's living in a dorm apartment, Kody. What is she supposed to do?
Do we really believe Kody here that he intends to build with Robin on Coyote Pass? Because my feeling is that he intends to sell this land at some point and make a profit. I don't even think he wants to build.
I don't think he wants to either. I think he's comfortable in the McMansion with the heated driveway. They
Why
have 4 acres.
Why would he?
Yeah.
Need to build? He's got a great situation now. He's turned into a monogamist.
Yep.
He has a great piece of land. But unfortunately, Meri and Janelle's names are attached to that land. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I know
they're probably going to sell it.
They paid it off, I think, early summer 2023, so just a few months ago. I don't know how they paid it off. I don't know who made the payment to pay it off, but it has been paid off. They own it free and clear. I just don't know what's going to happen to the property.
I thought they paid only one part of the land off because they had multiple plots that they were still owing on.
I don't know, but I think you need to do your raccoon forensics.
I'll look it up.
Look it up and
I'll go back to the Flagstaff County website and look it up.
Absolutely. Or onto Reddit, because there's a lot of raccoons on Reddit.
Yeah.
We're also looking into this. All right. From there, we head on over to Salt Lake City, Utah. We have Truly, because again, it was her birthday. She turned 12, and her request of Christine was to have a bike. What did you think of this scene?
This was pretty cute and wholesome. I feel bad for Truly.
Me too.
Because she's obviously very traumatized about learning how to ride a bike because fucking Kody was an asshole to her when she was trying to learn when she was like, 9 or something like that. She looked a little bit older.
I don't know.
But she was just like, there's a flashback of a scene where he's just being kind of harsh and stern with her, like, just figure it out, get on the bike.
I think she was like 5 or 6. I think she was younger.
She looked young. She looked old enough to like learn how to ride a bike, but still young, like where you shouldn't be so harsh with her. But she obviously is traumatized about learning how to ride a bike, and Christine talks about this. So they're going to let her take her time, do what she's most comfortable with. They bought her a bike, and they start to try and teach her how to ride a bike in their driveway.
Yeah.
And the poor thing is just so scared.
Yeah, and something that she's going to have to overcome.
Yeah.
It's sad, but Mitch is there. Mitch, again, is Aspen's
so
husband. He's really sweet. And then there's Christine and all the people just talking.
Jibba
and he's
jabba.
like, Truly needs less voices. Let's do some less voices. And Christine is like, that is the nicest way anyone has ever told me to shut up. But sometimes Christine needs to shut up.
I mean, truly,
She's just like a little parrot back there. Just chip, 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 chip. Shh, shut up. Let Truly have this moment to try and figure it out.
Yep.
So Truly she doesn't ride the bike, does she?
No.
She gets scared, but she does a little practice. She makes an attempt, and she says it's going to take at least 5 days. At least 5 days, maybe more, actually, for me to actually ride this bike.
At least 5 days. And in the moment, she's like, I'm not ready for this right now. Let's just wait until next year.
Right.
I'm 13. I'm like, you're so cute.
She's really cute. She's very precocious.
Yeah.
And she's just really a cool kid.
I was watching this with my wife, your daughter, and she was kind of making fun of Truly a little bit. She's like, man, she's old to like learn how to ride a bike. And I turned to her and I'm like, I was 10. I was 10. And then I was texting Ethel today, and she was telling me that somebody she knows, I won't reveal it or whatever, didn't learn until he was 16.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Yeah. And Truly even says, I wish I learned this when I was 5.
Yeah.
Which I think is coded language for, I wish I didn't have such a terrible, traumatic experience with my father who doesn't know how to parent me. And I wish I would have been able to pick it up back then. Somebody else had taught me so that I had been riding my bike this entire time. But no, now I'm 12 out here looking like a crazy person, like a crazy kid who can't ride a bike.
I know.
And I've got pressure now. I'm not going to do it. I'll do it next year.
I know.
It's like Monica Geller from Friends.
Yes.
Was she like 12 years old when she learned to tell time?
Yeah. Totally.
That's okay. I think I believed in Santa Claus till I was 11.
Are you serious?
I really wanted Santa Claus to be real.
God.
My childhood life was such a bummer, and it was so hard. The only thing we ever really had was Christmas.
Oh my God.
And so I needed Santa to be real.
That is really cute.
Yeah, I was entering puberty and I was still trying to believe in Santa Claus. Oh my God, that's so sad. All right, this wig, I swear to God, it's alive, it's sentient. It's like Medusa hairs trying to get in my mouth.
Peggy Bundy is reincarnated in your wig.
The final segment is the conclusion of the information revealed by Meri.
Yep.
Again, we pick up here and she talks about in the beginning of the relationship how she had a lot of doubts. She didn't really know whether she wanted to go all in with this kind of lifestyle with Kody, but he was always reassuring. He promised to love her forever, and she thought their commitment would actually mean something to him.
Yeah.
So she's throwing some bombs at him here.
She is. I mean, she should be, and she has every right to, because it is really hypocritical of Kody. Now, I will say, though, I think when she had that little internet affair with the catfish, I think that really broke his heart, like, actually. And I think that's probably where, yes. I really do think that actually broke his fucking heart.
The catfish broke Kody's heart because they weren't having a actual marriage, and I would assume intimacy for years before that. I think he was overjoyed. I know I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm such a bully.
I know.
But I feel like he was overjoyed because finally he had an excuse to get out of the marriage. And he ended up using it, leveraging it, weaponizing her catfishing in order to get that divorce from her and marry Robyn legally.
Yeah.
Am I correct in the timeline of that?
I think so.
Yeah.
We have to go back and watch those seasons, and I'm excited to do those in our
me
recaps and stuff, so we can actually see it happen as it happens. But no, I think it actually really fucked up his ego. I think it really bothered him deep down, and I think that's why part of the reason why their relationship is the way it is.
There's a difference between fucking up my ego and breaking my heart.
Well, I think it broke his heart too.
I don't think
he did love her.
I don't think he loved her.
I think he loved her. You can see it in the chemistry in the first couple seasons.
But not when they were in Vegas and she was catfishing him. I think he was done with her by then.
He was done with all of the wives by then because he was
not
obsessed
Janelle.
with Robyn's.
He was having a sexual renaissance with Janelle, honey. He was writing poetry and having passionate, sexy love. Janelle doesn't need to lie.
Listen, let's talk about the motivation for this whole sexual renaissance for Janelle in Las Vegas.
All right.
I mean, if she's been the money bags this whole entire time, of course, he's going to need to have a renaissance with her and try to swoon her and get her all.
How is she the money bag? She was a bookkeeper. The most she was making in Salt Lake City was, I don't know, $27,000 to $32,000 a year, which again is more than Kody Brown, because has he ever had a job? I don't know. And none of the other people were working in this family, but she was not rich. It's not like she was bringing home six figures, honey.
No, but I mean,
she was worried about those bills. Don't you remember when they had to go to consignment furniture shopping with Mr. Theo?
Yes, when they first got to Las Vegas.
And she's worried about it because I don't know how I'm going to pay bills next month.
Yeah.
She's not money bags.
No, she's not money bags per se.
Meri's money bags.
Meri's money bags, yeah. But like, if Janelle's keeping track of where all of the money is going and none of the other wives know where the money's actually going, he does kind of have to sweet talk her and keep her loyal, stuck to his ball and chain the whole entire time.
I don't think so. I think if he is motivated by that, then he would have been rubbing up against Meri, because Meri was doing LuLaRoe by then. Meri was making money at that point. That's why she wanted the wet bar, because she wanted to be able to schmooze her MLM friends. That's why she needed the place, because she had all of her inventory. She was working with Maddie at the time. Like, she was making a lot of money. So using that logic, he would have wanted to romance her, but he was not doing that. She was lonely AF. But she was looking for any kind of love and intimacy, and that's how she got catfished.
Well, yeah, but he also knew that Meri would never really leave him, though. I mean, look at her right now. It's been 8 years of having nothing, absolutely nothing in a marriage with Kody, and she's still pining over him, begging for him to try. Like, he knew she would never really leave, and then she has this catfish, and it's like a huge blow to his ego. Probably broke his heart a little bit, because he probably did love her, just like with how he loved Christine. He loved Christine.
He says he didn't.
Well, I think that's a lie.
And he says he never loved Meri.
I think that's a lie.
And he said he used to love Janelle.
I think that's all a lie.
He's a gaslighting liar. Yeah. I agree. I don't know. I don't know about all of that.
I don't know.
I
it's
think
an interesting
him and
theory.
Janelle in Las Vegas I think they've got a vibe together. I think their bodies fit just right, Beatrice. I think it's sexy times when they want it to be. Yes, I think.
I don't know.
Janelle is a Taurus. She's a sensual, beautiful mommy.
Yeah.
And she loves when he has a man bun. And so he comes on over when she's in Vegas in the cul-de-sac, and he saunters and sachets himself into her house. And he's got that man bun on. He's like, "What's cooking, mama?"
Oh my.
She said, "You know what's cooking? This punani. It's hot for you, Papa. Did you write me any poetry?"
I don't know, man.
I think so.
I don't know about all that.
All right. Back to Meri. So she's
sad relationship.
devastated. Here's where she talks about the fact that he said he never loved her.
Yeah.
He only ever, I guess, went through the motions to affirm their union. And she says, we can go back and ask anybody. That man loved me and I loved him. And I believe her. And
Yes.
I see the pictures and I watched the earlier seasons, as we said.
Yep.
So no lies detected. The only person lying is Kody.
For sure.
Meri says that Kody told her directly that they are never going to have a marriage relationship ever again.
Ever again.
So, Meri, in this moment, because we end this episode with her saying, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Meri, how do you not know what you're going to do when he finally said it as clearly as possible that there is no way that we are ever going to be together in a relationship? I do not see myself in your life in any way. I don't want to be in your life in any way.
Yep. I think he even said to her, like, I don't even care to be interjected into your life in any way because I don't care. Like, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're alive or dead. That's essentially what he said to her.
You're right.
And then he's saying that our marriage is over. There's nothing. I don't even know why you call me. I don't even know why you called me today on our anniversary. Like, I even give a shit.
Right.
Like, he's being very direct with her. And
very
then she
harsh.
says, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Because he has to be, because she's pining, she's dreaming, she's hoping, she's praying.
I don't get it.
He's like, you need to hear what I'm saying to you. It is never going to work out. I think there's a kind of kindness in that. He's like, let me actually go pick you up. Let me take you to a restaurant and break it to you as gently as possible that this shit is over. And Meri, you have to hear me. Meri, you are free to go live your life and do what you want to do. And she even says in this segment, I've got two choices. The first choice is I can continue to live the way I have been living for the last 8 years, which is as a fiercely independent, badass woman doing my own thing. I'm like, okay, lady.
Whatever.
All right, lady.
Okay.
Or I can terminate this relationship.
Terminate it.
And then she says, but that really goes against my values, which I think here again, she's talking about her religious values. And so that doesn't sit right with her. So she's not comfortable to do that. And then she says, I don't know what to do. You don't have anything to do. This man has told you he's not married to you.
Yep. And he does not give a shit at all. So why are you even here? And I was asking Ethel about all this because I'm just like, why doesn't Kody just be honest with all of these women and say that I fell in love with Robin, I fell out of love with you guys, I found my person and I'm just done, and like, let's just cut our losses and try to have a nice, amicable relationship with all the kids and all of that. Mm-hmm. Why doesn't he just say that? And Ethel's like, well, it goes against their whole religious doctrine, and I guess with their AUB religion and the Mormon God on Kolob, the only thing that they give the women in this polygamy relationship type thing is that the women have the choice to leave, and it doesn't affect them so negatively on the planets or something, and it doesn't look bad on Kody on his man planet. But if Kody
sorry,
I know this is how ridiculous this is. And if Kody told the wives, I want to leave you, then it demotes him on his man planet.
Right.
So then he goes farther away from God on Kolob.
So if he initiates a divorce with one of his wives, he pays a higher price in the afterlife.
Yes.
There were some comments from folks on YouTube that are like, that whole planet thing is not actually true. It's not in the religion. And then there are people on Reddit that are like, no, it's absolutely in the religion.
Yeah.
And you have Ethel, obviously, who is former Mormon, saying, yes, it's not as basic as we paint it out to be, but like essentially the afterlife is a big deal.
Yeah.
And if you are married to a woman in your human life, you're going to take her with you to wherever you go, planet or otherwise, in your eternal life.
Yep.
And so Meri wants to be with him in the eternal life.
Yep.
That was what her hope was. That is what she bought into. And so now you're telling me that you don't want anything to do with me. So why would I want to spend eternity with you? And to that I say, yeah, no, duh. Meri,
Hello?
why would you want to?
Yes. I don't understand. But like, this is the whole predicament that both Meri and Janelle are in. They're both wrestling with their faith with all of this because they believe in these marriages being eternal and spiritual and all of that hogwash. But I'm just like, come on, ladies. I don't understand. Dignity. Have some dignity. Find yourself another Mormon man if you want. Janelle, if you want to go back into plural marriage, that's cool, whatever. I'm not going to judge you. I mean, I will judge you a little bit, but I'm not going to judge you super hard.
Right.
And go find a new planet. Like, you don't have to be on Kody Brown's planet with fucking Robin. Well, I mean, I guess they wouldn't even really be on his planet because he doesn't really consider himself married to these two.
No, he doesn't.
So they would be on their own separate moons or something.
Does he even get a planet if he's not a polygamist?
I don't know.
So can some Mormons out there give us an actual education? I know we're speaking out of ignorance. We've heard things, we've read things, but like we're not Mormons, so we don't actually know. But yeah, there's a ramification for Kody Brown. There is a ramification for Meri. I think Meri is very offended that he is going back on his commitment to take care of her in this life and in the afterlife. But nonetheless, in the conversation that she has with them at the restaurant, she says, well, like, should we make an announcement then?
Yeah.
Should we just tell people that we're no longer together? And he says, no, because I get too much criticism as it is, and I don't want people talking about me. I don't want people shaming me. So let's just keep it to ourselves.
What a dick.
And Meri, why do you even ask? You don't have to ask him.
Right.
You can just walk away from that conversation, go home, pull up your Instagram and make your own damn statement. Why are you still trying to consider him in everything that you're doing? This man doesn't care about you.
Nope. He only cares how he looks to everybody else. Even though he's not on Instagram, he's not active on the social medias because he knows how he's being perceived. He only gives a shit about that. He does not care about Meri and her feelings.
No.
He doesn't care where she goes or what she's doing in her life because he literally does not give a shit except for how he's going to be looked at and criticized for losing another marriage.
Right. And Meri on the couch says, this is my story too.
Yeah.
I should have every right to speak and tell my story.
Yes, queen.
But she never did.
I know.
She waited until after last season's Tell Nothings to issue a joint statement with Kody. So she honored his request, his need to control the situation and to control his image, and she played into it.
Yep.
Like, I just want you to stand up, tell the truth, tell us how you feel, tell us how you feel about him, even if you love him and want him. Tell us the truth.
Right. Just be honest.
These people, all they do is lie.
I know. Isn't she still going to come out with a book, or did she already come out with that?
No, what?
Didn't she come out with a book?
No, we've talked about it. We put it on a vision board that she was writing a book. To write a book. Yeah, I can see her doing that.
I thought she was talking about writing a book or something, or maybe that was just a fever dream.
She's made a couple of Instagram posts where she's like, don't worry, I'm going to speak out on this at some point in the future when the time is right for me. So she makes cryptic kind of statements like that, but like never always. Really said a book.
Well, I mean, that would be so awesome.
I would buy that book.
I would buy that book, just like the Britney Spears book.
Oh my God.
Like, come
I need
on.
to buy that book.
I know, I need to. I've heard it's crazy.
God. Justin Timberlake is
asshole.
Getting dragged for having
what
a
goes
micro
around, comes back
penis.
Around. Yep.
A little baby penis, a pamper penis.
Pamper
he
diaper
stuck it in and she couldn't even feel it, baby. And she's like, oh my God, my world is collapsing around me. This man has no penis. Fuck Justin Timberlake.
For real.
What an asshole. He cheated on her multiple times before she ever cheated with that Wade guy.
Yep.
And then dragged her publicly through the mud. Also, during the Super Bowl with Janet Jackson, where she had her wardrobe malfunction, that whole thing was his idea.
Yes.
And he let her take the fall. So it is time for a reckoning for Justin Timberlake. And you know what? It's time for a reckoning for Kody Brown.
100%.
But you know what, Meri? I'm putting some of this accountability on you.
Yep.
I'm putting some of this responsibility on you. You are the captain of your own ship.
Yes, honey.
And it is up to you how you want to live your life. I don't fault you for loving this man. You've been with him for 32 years. But I do just want better for you because week after week, he is humiliating you and making you look like a schmo on national television. And you're letting him.
And he's wasting your life. Like, he's taking so much of your time and energy because you're just begging for him to be something that he will never be for you ever again. And you were just wasting your time. Like, go be happy with somebody else. You deserve that. You deserve to get your back blown out by somebody. I just want that for her. Preferably by a biker person.
Now she can go do that because finally he said it with his actual big boy words. He told her it's never going to happen. And so now it's on you, Meri, to go out and make a life for yourself that you will love.
Yeah.
This is where the episode ends with her saying, I don't know what I'm going to do.
So annoying.
The choice is not yours because he walked away from you. We go to the preview and we see next week that it's Christine's 50th birthday party. She's celebrating. She's having fun.
She's single.
Well, she's dating though.
Yeah, she's dating a lot. That's what she said.
Oh my God. Do we think that she's met him already?
I hope so.
Oh, wow. We also see that Kody comes over to Janelle's apartment to check it out, but he can tell that there's no place for him there. He's not going to be spending any time there. And Janelle and Savannah actually look uncomfortable with him in their space. And finally, we have Meri saying that they haven't had a marriage for 8 years, I guess, and screw him, he's not worth it. So, okay.
So you don't know what you're going to do, but then the next episode, screw him, he's not worth it.
Right. I wonder if when she's on the couch, she's trying to narrate where she was at the time, but she's not necessarily aligned perfectly with what they're showing in terms of footage.
Maybe.
And how can you blame her? Because they're just patching together all this footage from all the different seasons.
All this extra shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe she's thinking at the time, I didn't really know which way I was going to go. But then by the next episode, she's like, no, screw him. He's not worth it. And we need the era of Meri getting mad and opening her mouth and telling us about it. That's what we need over here.
We do. And I was really hoping that this episode was going to have the whole picnic table thing on Coyote Pass and the whole confrontation. I feel like they're going to just save that for the season finale, which is just so annoying. And I thought this episode was weirdly patched together anyway, because you have all of these really sad scenes with Meri talking about the disillusion of her marriage and all of this shit, paired with Mykelti and Tony talking about their twins, like I give a shit, and then Truly riding a bike.
Right.
It's just like super weird that they paired all of that with this depressing ass, heavy ass information that they're seemingly splitting into two different episodes, because we're still getting more of this conversation next episode. It's like, okay.
Well, I'm thinking that Meri and Cody's anniversary was like around April. We see Janelle doing her garden sometime in June because she's planting a little bit late. So I just feel like they're all over the place.
They are.
There's no like continuity to kind of anchor yourself and figure out where you are with this family, because it's all, like I said, cobbled together.
And this is just going to prove Robin and Cody's whole narrative that they're getting a bad edit. Because they are splicing all of this shit into all these different times. It's very weird.
But they can't use what you don't give them, honey.
I mean, that's the truth right there.
So any final thoughts about this episode, Beatrice?
It was kind of boring, but I mean, what dirty laundry did we air really besides what we already know, which is that Kody and Meri are not married. I mean,
I guess Maddie, I was really interested to hear that bit of information, because I think we've all been wondering, like, what does Maddie think? And also, what does Caleb think? Because Caleb and Kody used to have a bit of a bromance. Kody really liked Caleb, and we saw the footage of him marrying them. I don't know. We needed to see that.
Yeah.
But I thought that was super interesting. And I kind of love how Janelle is just coming in and saying, yeah, he's getting what he's giving. And no, she's not calling him because his behavior has been atrocious and she's trying to take care of her kids. We don't want our children around a crazy man.
Yeah, I do really love that.
I love that too.
And
that
I
was
want
really
more
good.
of that, because Janelle's the only one that's really being honest here. I mean, Christine somewhat, because Christine has that whole passive aggressive undertone underneath all of it. But Janelle, she's got the real tea.
Yes.
And I want more of that.
And I want that from Meri. I think we can get there, Meri. I think we can get there. That's what I want.
Worthy up.
Yes. # worthy up. All right. Well, that was fantastic for our 100th episode. I love that our 100th episode was a Sister Wives episode.
It's so fitting.
Because we started with Sister Wives.
Yeah.
That's what motivated us to start our podcast, baby. Now we got a YouTube. We got a Patreon. We're doing all sorts of reality TV. We're famous.
I mean, truly.
So is there anything else that we need to say to these beautiful raccoons, Beatrice?
Well, if you love our podcast, I sure hope that you give us a glowing 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. It would really help us grow the pod. Thank you so much.
And we'll be back later this week to talk Welcome to Plathville and the conclusion. Thank you.
Finally.
The conclusion of 90 Day Fiancé, The Last Resort. So make sure to check that out. And until then, we love you and peace out.